Writers, good morning. Happy Monday. Hey, Ted, how you doing?
Good morning. Good morning. That's a big question for me today, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
What I've recognized, it was interesting. I was thinking about getting on with you today, Jade, and I realized like we're almost a third, or we're over a third of the way through the year, right?
Crazy. Yes.
And, the world has not stopped turning, and there's just a ton of stuff getting on. So like, how am I? I kind of thought like we just check in with each other and check in with the people that have been following this Monday morning Jumpstart, because quickly we're coming up on, first quarter when you're talking business terms, first quarter's down.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So what I'd say to you is like, how, I flipped the question back to you. How are you doing? What's kind of been on your mind?
I'm good. I think that there's a lot happening in life right now, and it's like it's busy season. That's what it feels like for me when you ask me how am I doing. It's busy season, and that I'm one of those people that when it's busy, it gets super overwhelming, right? And so sometimes I then like freeze and don't know what to do and what to go. So it is definitely busy season, and I'm feeling that. And another reason why I don't like busy season is because just like what we're doing now, like I feel like you don't do it, right? Like you don't do those check-ins like with yourself and looking back. And normally that's where I know where I am and how I am is by doing those things. It's almost like even difficult to answer right now. Like, how am I? I'm not really sure. Have I thought about that? How am I doing? Like, what's going on?
Well, I think you used the appropriate thing that we can just kind of lean into, this idea of checking in, rhythmically checking in. As soon as you said that, I thought back to, and we had talked about setting goals a couple months ago.
Yeah.
The interesting thing about setting goals, if you just use the pretty obvious that people set goals in the beginning of the year, many people don't check back on those goals. Mm-hmm. And so if you're not checking back on those goals, how do you know what to pivot, or how do you know what you got to do? Or maybe you completely change the goal after first quarter. Yeah. And so this idea of checking in, I think there's layers to what you and I need to be doing, and it kind of extend the invitation for other people to check in. The people that have been following this Monday morning Jumpstart is that, there is a lot going on. And when you say busy season, I don't know, man. Like, I just feel like
it's always
we've been in busy season, right? Like, and that's kind of how the world works and how business works. And if you're trying to start a writing career and you got all this stuff going on and you're trying to balance leaving a full-time job and starting this solopreneur world, or maybe you're just trying to take courses at AW, it doesn't matter what it is, it's busy, right? And sometimes busy if we don't check in. So like, I guess just one exercise we all could do from this Monday morning Jumpstart is to slow down and just start writing down, like, what am I busy with? Right? Like, just what am I busy with? And then take the pen and start crossing off. Like, this probably isn't urgent, relating back to some of the things we talked about in the past, that whole big rock thing. Like, maybe we're so busy with certain things that aren't really driving what the outcomes that we really want, right? So I think that's one level of check-in that I would encourage people to do. So actually two levels that we've already brought up today. One would be, we hoped that you set some goals earlier this year when we talked about it. So check back in on those goals, and then start checking in with the activity around those goals. Do you need to readjust those goals, et cetera, et cetera? And then I would say that there's an emotional check-in that needs to happen, right? Maybe for a separate call, or maybe we do this in the next week or 2 weeks from now.
Yeah, let's lean into it. I feel like in the next few weeks, that'll be good.
Yeah, but I think there's an emotional check-in that needs to happen because of everything that's going on.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this, Ted. If somebody looks at their goals and they haven't achieved what they wanted to achieve, do you think that they need to readjust or go back to them? Or what is your advice for unachieved goals when you look back?
Yeah, I think you got to peel the goal all the way back. I would say, first quarter of the year, I wouldn't be adjusting any goals.
Okay.
Particularly given the environment that we're in. I wouldn't go adjusting goals. What I would do is look at your activity. I would look at your prioritization of how you're spending your time, something that we've talked about in the past, Jade. But I wouldn't go adjusting goals now. Mid-year, we get into June and July, and your goals were off big time. Then I would say, hey, little lesson learned. Like, did I overshoot the goal or did I undershoot the goal? Because there's two things here, because you said, there's what you're addressing is this idea of not achieving goals.
Mm-hmm.
There's also this other one, mid-year, all of a sudden we've blown a goal out of the water, right?
Yeah.
Should you readjust that, or right? Should we readjust that, or should we just keep on going through the year?
Mm-hmm.
I would readjust them, right? I think first quarter is a little early to readjust goals, but I'd peel it back. I'd take the microscope out, look really closely at why you're not achieving the goal or why you are way above the goal. The world's kind of opened up a little bit in the first quarter.
Yeah.
So, and I can't completely name it, but I feel like the world opened back up and I had certain expectations that things were going to just fall back into place and everything was going to catch a rhythm again and all this other stuff, which probably brings me to, I don't know if that's happened for you, for me, for anybody, because we had certain expectations. As many people have heard me say before, I think expectations are the root of all heartache. And I think maybe I overshot my expectations of what it was going to feel like and be like. And I am definitely in thinking mode of what I need to adjust.
Yeah.
Well,
I think let's as well take a moment to acknowledge what you touched on. If there's anybody that is listening, that when you look back on your goals and you realize you've achieved them, first off, congratulations, well done, because there's no better feeling. But also let us know what that was and your achievements in them, because I would love to, like that good news bear, like we said, there's so much stuff going on and so much not great stuff. So share your great news with us. Like I would love to see that and know what's going on.
Amen. Yeah, I'm sure there's plenty of goals being hit. Right.
I think so too.
Yeah. So are we leaning into them? Yeah. So I guess the moral of the story today on this Monday is slow down and check in. Like, just don't blast into second quarter and moving it, because before you know it, we'll be sitting here, Jade, and we'll be getting together on a Monday, and it'll be June or July, and a whole half a year will have flown by. And so we've already talked about a lot. And so, now that I say that out loud, I'd love to hear from people, that we've been doing this for, 3 or 4 months now together. And I'd love to hear from people. Do you guys have questions or topics that you'd love for us to cover? It's kind of like our own check-in of slowing down. And then we're encouraging people on an individual basis, just check in.
Yeah. It's so funny. You remind me of one of my favorite quotes that I read recently. And it said, in nothing, there is everything. So when you slow down, that's where all the answers are, but we are so busy that we don't slow down, so we don't get those answers. It's so funny. It's like the counterintuitive thing to do. So so we're going to reflect. We're going to do some reflection today. We're going to do some slowing down and hopefully some celebrating. And then next we get into values. Ted, how does that sound?
Absolutely. Great.
Cool.
Good deal.
Awesome. We'll see everybody then.